Good morning, everyone. Hi. How are we this morning? Um, okay, so just checking the little equipment here. It's always so much fun to try and get everything on here happening so that I can see the comments. And seems to be a little bit slow, but anyways, okay. Okay, good morning. I always have such a good time trying to figure this out. Anyways, okay, so we're going to do a plant-based scone, which will be really super yummy because I made them last week and they're really good. So we're going to get going on that right away. I'm just going to see, I'm waiting for everything to line up here so that I can see your comments and see who's on here. And yeah, I don't know, it's really strange how sometimes it works and sometimes it just doesn't. Anyways, I can see somebody's on there, and so we're going to get going. Let's see. Okay. It says live. I'm going to trust that it's live. Okay. So anyways, okay, we're going to get going with the plant-based scones, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with the flour, and you can use a gluten-free flour if you want. You can use a rice. I haven't actually made it with a rice flour, so because I was really thinking that it was going to fall apart. So I did use, you could use a Bob's Red Mill, which is pretty good because it still has a lot of different flours in it, and so that's why it's really it works really well. Hey, hi, good morning. Okay, so yeah, so you can use the Bob's Red Mill. You know, it all depends on how you want your scone. I don't mind if they fall apart. So if you're using a rice flour or something like that, that's gluten-free. But the Bob's Red Mill seems to be pretty good. The Robin Hood is pretty good too, you know, for the gluten-free. But anyway, so I'm using a Bob's Red Mill. So we have 2 cups flour here, and we're going to put that in right away because I actually do want to try and cook these before you guys take off. So that's off. And hey, hi Darlene, hi Jane. Okay, so we're going with a plant-based scone, and whatever kind of flour that you really think that you're going to be happy with, because of course if it's gluten-free, most of the time if it's like a rice, it's going to be really crumbly because it doesn't have the glue to hold it together, and so gluten-free tends to be crumbly, which I don't mind in a scone. So it all depends what you want. Anyway, 2 cups of flour, whatever your choice is, and 1 teaspoon of, I'm actually measuring this time, which is a miracle because you guys know I never measure, but I do really want these to turn out, and I did kind of sort of pay attention when I made them last week, and it turned out really well. So it was worth paying attention to a little bit of a recipe. Okay, so yeah, so anyways, so the 2 cups flour, teaspoon of the baking powder. I'm going to use a coconut sugar, and I'm going to use, like, this is my little coconut sugar thing, and it says 1/8 of a cup, and so I'm going to go 2 1/8 of a cup, actually, and then I'm going to actually add more. So you don't really, typically a scone is not very sweet, and so I don't want to use a lot, but with the coconut sugar, it really does have a lower glycemic index, so it is easier on your blood sugar if you have a tendency towards blood sugar issues, or especially if you're diabetic, it's a little bit lower glycemic index. And so so I'm going to guess that roughly 2 1/8 is 1/4 of a cup, maybe. for 2 cups of flour. So that's all I'm going to use. Then we're going to sprinkle a little on top just for aesthetics, just for prettiness. So we're going to add, the other thing is a little bit of salt, and then we're going to we're gonna have to get messy because because it really does require a lot of mixing it together. And so you know, I tried to do it with the with a spatula or spoon or whatever, and it just doesn't work very well. Okay, so we've got our flour, baking powder, I am paying attention, sugar, salt, coconut oil, and 3/4 cup of almond milk. So we're going to do the, actually, you know what, we're adding this after. And we're going to add strawberries. So we have the coconut oil here, 1/2 cup. And this is like the softened coconut oil. And, you know, if you use the coconut oil, it really doesn't have any coconut flavor. Well, not much anyways, not much coconut flavor. And so, so I am going to try and grind this down a little bit with my spatula, but we want to get all those little bits of coconut oil mixed thoroughly with the flour, so I am going to use my hands. And so, of course, I've just washed my hands, got everything all ready, and so we're just going to feel, because it really is helpful. I'll move this so you can see it. It really is helpful because you can actually feel the lumps and where the coconut oil is. And so you just want to get it really, really mixed in there before you add the milk. So I'm going to do that really quickly. And it really amazes me because it seems like there's just chunks everywhere. So I'm just kind of, if you can see, I'm just kind of grabbing it really hard like a fist and rolling it over to try and get all the just plain parts of flour so that you can, so see, you can see this would be really hard to do with any kind of utensil. You just have to really grab that and mush that coconut oil in. Okay, so I think it feels pretty even now, and I am rushing a bit because I want to get these in the oven, and I really would love to have them come out before we leave today. So that's why I am rushing it a bit. So you might want to do a little bit more of a thorough job on that, although I think they're going to be just fine because it feels pretty, the coconut oil, that's the other thing to pay attention to, is that was 3/4 cup of milk. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. I'm just thinking because I actually halved this recipe when I was looking them up on the internet, and I did look this one up because, like I said, I am not a professional cook and I am so not a baker. So I actually looked this up to try and figure out what the best, easiest would be, non-failure. And this one was really good. And you know what? I will find the actual author and post that on there because this is not my recipe, but it turned out really, really good. Okay, so we're going to go in and just get that really mixed up again. And yeah, it's one of the few recipes that I actually found and followed. Oh my gosh, because I need to do something with my strawberries. I have so many strawberries. It's just strawberry heaven around here. And so we've been having a lot of strawberries, and I noticed that, so excited that the little raspberries are happening. Hey Monique, oh Barb, hi everybody. We're making a plant-based scone. Everybody loves scones. And I have to mention, if you ever wanted, okay, I probably shouldn't do this, but if you ever wanted a really good biscotti recipe, Jane makes a really good one. So that was a long time ago. We had to quit making them because we were eating way too many. Okay, so it's just kind of like this. And strawberries, I have my strawberries ready. Just going to dump them in there, squish them in. I want to get these in, and then we can go on to something else while these are cooking. And I'm just going to mush them because I don't need the strawberries to be pretty. I'm just mushing them in here. And I kind of want it blended, and then if you wanted to, you could take the time to actually make them really pretty with, look at that, with a strawberry on top, and make it all nice and everything. I'm just gonna move my water and my stuff here and get them on. So it's just on a parchment sheet. So I did not use any oil or anything like that on it. I don't think we really need to with that amount of coconut oil in there. And so I'm just gonna plop them on. Can you guys see that? You can't really see that. Okay, let's move this over a bit. Get it to where you can see what's going on here. There we go. So I'm just plopping them on here, and oh God, yeah. So I am trying to. I'm just gonna pat it down a little bit. Stick strawberry on top. So this is like the messiest recipe that I've done in quite a while, but they did turn out really good, and so. I don't know why. It's such a easy recipe. It just amazes me how well they came out. And so what I'm doing with these is I'm not just using them as a scone. I'm using them like for a healthier version of strawberry shortcake, just because we do have so many strawberries. And I didn't really want to have like a white, kind of sugary cake to go with it. So, so I thought, well, what could I do that would be, hardly any sugar and be some kind of cake to put the strawberries with. And so this is what I came up with. And yeah, and I will research the actual person that dreamt this up, because it wasn't me. Okay, but it's a really good one, so I thought I'd share. Especially since we're eating them so fast. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna carefully get that into the oven, which is already hot, and it's at 425, and you do 15 minutes. Oh, I forgot. I'm trying to hurry for you guys. I forgot. What I was gonna do, I'm gonna carefully have to wash this after. I was gonna add just a little bit of coconut sugar over top. Can you guys see that? Just for make it pretty. Okay. Okay, now I have to wash that. Okay, so back in the oven. And so I will quickly rinse my hands off, and we'll get on to plan B. And there we go. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do today, while we wait for those to cook, and I'm so excited because I wish you could taste them, because they are so good. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way here, and this, and I don't know, we'll just kind of clean this up a bit. And so what I wanted to talk to you guys about was digestion. And so I had a few questions on the internet with digestive herbs and digestive foods and that kind of thing. And so we'll get into foods later, more about the foods, because it's quite, is quite a bit detailed. And so what I'd like to do is kind of break that down into more deeper. So that's going to be like almost a class. But in the meantime, what we can do for your for digestion is we're going to make a cordial, or you could call it an elixir. But basically, what it is it's a herbal tincture, and we're going to use that as a digestive. So that if you generally you would use this after you eat, but say your stomach's just feeling kind of off and you're not really hungry, or you probably ate too much, at lunch, and you're not really hungry for dinner, or you ate the wrong thing and you feel bloated, then you can use this. So what we're going to do is I've made it several different ways, and I really love cardamom. Most people do love cardamom because it's chai tea, right? That's that strong, super strong flavor of the chai tea. And cardamom has so many benefits. Like it's just really good for it's good for digestion, obviously. That's why it's used in a chai tea. In a lot of the Indian meals, they will serve you, after the meal, they'll serve you a chai tea. And so the cardamom is really super important. So we're going to put this together, and just looking for my little jar here. And so I'm just going to put it in a canning jar. So we're going to add, I'm just going to go with tablespoons so that it's easy for you guys. So we're going to go with a tablespoon of cardamom. So heaping tablespoon. And these are the green cardamom seeds. And so they, there's a black cardamom, and it's quite a bit more bitter, and it has different, more antiparasitic, antifungal properties. This one will as well be antiviral. It's really good for cholesterol in general. It's also nice for if you feel a little bit of nausea. Although I would depend on ginger more for that. It helps with blood circulation, and it's antimicrobial, so it helps to stop microbes. Like, you know, it's got a little bit of antibacterial in it, not a lot. You know, so the thing you have to watch with antibacterial herbs and tinctures and things like that is that if you do a lot of an antibacterial, depending on the herb and the antibacterial, it may not differentiate between good bacteria and bad bacteria. Oh, hi, Heather. Hey. So you have to watch with your antibacterials that it's good to keep the bad bacteria under control, but you also want the good bacteria. So certain herbs have certain antibacterials, and some don't differentiate between good and bad, and so you would not take them all the time, right? Because then you would throw your bacterial balance off in your, what we're talking about is probiotics, right? The bacteria in the colon and the intestine. So you want to make sure that you aren't on an antibacterial for a long time, or switch it up with a different herbal or plant antibacterial so that it goes after different things, you know. So what we always want is to try and keep that balance. Anyway, back to the cardamom. We have the cardamom for digestion. We're making a digestive, kind of a digestive bitter, I suppose you would say. One of the other things very well known also with Indian foods is fennel seeds. The fennel seeds are often in an Indian restaurant, they'll give it to you and they're sugar coated, or they can be straight up too. I'm not a super fan of licorice tasting things, and so I'm just going to add a half a teaspoon of fennel. But if you do like fennel and you like licorice tasting, you know, things, you can add more. So of course, you know, for sure the fennel is so good for digestion. It stimulates the gastric juices. It's just really good for bloating, gas, pain, all those kinds of things, cramping. Really good for the blood. It has so many benefits, fennel. So we're going to add that. And the one that I do like, that I really, can you guys see that? The one that I really do like is the star anise. And so, just looking at the clock, when did we put those scones in? I think it was 11:15, right? Am I right? Okay, 11:30, I'm going to take them out. Okay, so the star anise, I'll just show you. They get a whole one here. They're like little stars, and they have a hint of licorice flavor, but they also have a very, to me, it's a very exotic, sweet, lovely flavor. They're very mild in that, and they're also super good for digestion. So I'm going to put a few of these in here too. And you know, I was really after something that you guys can make that everybody has in their cupboard. And so, you know, hopefully you have cardamom. You should have fennel, really. But if you don't, we can use cinnamon. Cinnamon's also really good for digestion. Cinnamon is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. Cinnamon is one of the main spices, I guess, or herbs that they were really researching for the virus, because it's so antiviral that it hits hard on a virus. So if you have nothing else, go for your cinnamon for a viral issue. And I mean that in a serious way. So I'm going to add a heaping half, that'd be like a level teaspoon, I guess. And but if you are working with a virus and something happens and you're dealing with that, heavily spiced cinnamon tea, if you can get cinnamon sticks, that would be even better. Simmer it and drink it, and it's a lot more important than what you would think. It's a hard hitter. It really is. It's a power herb. You wouldn't think so, but it really is. I'm going to add turmeric to this too, because it does have some digestive properties, and I just think that whenever you can add it, you should, because it's so anti-inflammatory. So it's about a half teaspoon. It's so anti-inflammatory with the curcumin, and it's just super awesome. So whenever you, for inflammation, pain, arthritis, all that kind of thing, and so much more, digestion too. When you're adding turmeric, you should always use some black pepper to activate the turmeric. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there. So this is going to be like, I think, to me, in the old days, like olden days, before my time, after dinner, the men would go into the library and drink brandy. And I think that that's part of that digestive heat. And however that, I don't know how it was made back then, and I don't think that it had all this in it. But I think that that's part of that helping to digest, because I do know that with a stronger alcohol like that, it does tend to activate the gastric juices, I guess. I don't really know, but I know that it really works to have just a little shot, and alleviates that feeling of indigestion and feeling like you ate too much and you're too full. But anyway, this is much better, and this will help with your stomach enzymes. It'll help with just that horrible feeling of having overeaten, or you don't feel like eating. This can stimulate because it has the bitters in it as well. And you can use a lot of other bitter herbs. Like there's a lot of different bitter herbs that we could use. We could be using, Oregon grape. We could be using dandelion. We could be using yellow dog. There's so many different ones. But what I was trying to do was just offer you something that you can make up that you would have in your own kitchen. And of course, if you have nothing else, ginger is always good for digestion. So we're just going to shake a little bit of ginger in there. And of course, I'm a ginger person, so I love a lot of ginger, so I just kind of dump it in. So what we're going to do with this is we're just going to add, you can add whatever kind of alcohol you want to turn it into a tincture. So in this case, I don't want it to be really tincture-y. I don't want it to be really tincture-y in as far as just tasting the herbs. I want it to actually taste like a well, not really a liqueur, but like a cordial, sort of like a liqueur. So I'm going to add some of this wine to it. And this is actually a blackberry merlot that a friend of mine, Ava, left here quite some time ago, and I'm not a fan of it. And so I thought, well, this would be a good thing to do with it. And so, so we're just going to add this, and you could add a brandy to it. That would be awesome if you did. If you wanted to add a brandy to it, that would be really good, and it would actually work better. But this is the kind of thing, you can see I poured quite a bit in there. This is the kind of thing that you are just going to have like a half of a shot glass full. It's not something you're going to be drinking a glass of. This is a medicine. So, but it's going to taste better than most, and it'll just help to activate your gastric juices and your for digestion. So you just stir this up, and then when you're making any kind of a tincture, generally speaking, when you make a tincture, you would be using either a brandy or a vodka or a 40% alcohol minimum. This, of course, is just wine. It's only 8%. So if you wanted it to last for a long time, you can add some honey to that, and that'll help preserve it. Or you could add some apple cider vinegar, which also will aid in digestion as well. So you can add apple cider vinegar to it, or a brandy or something like that. I just personally just wanted to use up that wine and do something with it. And so, and also, well, my husband's a little sensitive to the apple cider vinegar, which is why I'm not going to add that. So this would be something that kind of tastes a little bit wine-ish with a little bit of a kick for digestion. So you're going to work with what people want to, each person's individual, right? So this is not a recipe for everybody, right? I'm just showing you things that you can use in the kitchen that you may have. So you could use 2 or 3 of these things. You could just use the cardamom, you could just use fennel, you could just use the cinnamon and a little bit of brandy or whatever. But to really hit all of those different digestive, to help alleviate that feeling of indigestion. Gotta love that. Okay, I'll put the lid on after. I have this lid. We'll put this lid here and we'll try not to spill it. We'll set it over there till I get my ring. But anyway, ideally, in a perfect world, if you were tincturing this, I would use a vodka. I like using vodka because it has no taste. And when you know it's done, when it doesn't taste like vodka. When you cannot taste the vodka, all you taste is herb, then you know it's done. So in this case, because it's a wine, same thing. I want to be able to taste something different, right? I want to be able to taste the bitters, and in this case, the cardamom and the licorice taste of the fennel and the anise. So so just thought I'd share that with you because there's so many benefits to cardamom. You could just put cardamom seeds in brandy, and that would be super awesome too, because they're the green cardamom is like the young cardamom, and so it's just a beautiful flavor, and it does so much for you with digestion. Oh my gosh, it's good for the heart, it's good for everything. And then when the cardamom, if you're looking at black cardamoms, because I see there's a question on for black cardamoms, and so the black cardamoms are like they've got more of a strong sort of smokier flavor, and they're more medicinal. So they would be more like for constipation or diarrhea, or they're more intestinal. So they're very, very, very medicinal. They're not nearly, in my opinion, they're not nearly as pleasant as the green cardamom. So I want to show you that, and have a few other things happening here. We've got daisies. I dehydrated daisies. Daisies, believe it or not, daisy tea, really good for anything respiratory. So I had the time this summer. I've had the time to gather all these things, and it's so exciting to be able to play with all the things that I've never really taken the time for before. So it's awesome. We're also drying some the plantain. I did the plantain ointment. This is the plantain. I'm drying this for the tincture. So the plantain, we've spoken quite a bit about the plantain, and it has it's so good for skin issues, good for the liver. So internally, it's really good for the skin and for bronchial respiratory types of things, and then externally for the skin, it's amazing. Like, it is so amazing. Of course, when it's fresh, if you have a bee sting or run into poison ivy or stinging nettle or whatever, you can just mush up the fresh leaf and put it on the area of the skin that's affected, and it just works awesome, within a few minutes. And then also, so what I'm doing is I'm making salves and also tinctures with the plantain. So this, I want to talk about this for a minute. We did this the other day, and this was the plant-based vegan Parmesan cheese. And so I'm trying to remember the recipe now. So many recipes ago. Basically, if anyone can remember with me, but I think it was cashews and nutritional yeast. So I really like it, but you know, I love this stuff from Healthy Habits or any health food store, I'm sure. And it's the Earth Island Parmesan, and it is so exactly like Parmesan, like even better than regular Parmesan. It's so awesome for a plant-based Parmesan. And this, it just doesn't quite taste like that. So I just wanted to tell you guys, give you an update on, I thought, well, you know, I tasted this and I tasted that, and I was like, okay, what is it? It's got like that sort of a cool tingling on the tongue, you know, like a Parmesan kind of has a bit of a cool if you just eat a little bit. And so anyways, I thought sunflower seeds would be a similar kind of blander, nuttier flavor. And so I did use raw, of course it's raw cashews, of course. You're always, really ideally you always want to eat your nuts raw, because that's where all the health benefits are, you know, all the omegas and the healthy fats and all that kind of thing, as well as the individual minerals and stuff from the plant, right? Once it's cooked, it's not, well, it makes it harder to digest for one thing, and it also takes away all the nutrition, or most of the nutrition. Anyway, back to the raw. So raw cashews, raw sunflower seeds, and nutritional yeast, and it's better, you know. So just so you know, if anybody did try and make this last week, throw it back into your little Vitamix thing, or your thing, your magic bullet thing, and throw it back in with some sunflower seeds and see how you like it, because I think it really picked it up a notch. And I added a teensy bit more sea salt to it as well. So what we're going to do right now, while we're waiting for the scones to finish, and they should be a couple more minutes, I'm just going to make a super quick energizing drink, because I do want to get out in the garden soon, even though you know, we're so happy. It's going to be screaming hot today, screaming hot. And so I'm very excited to get out there before it gets too hot. And I figure I could probably get an hour in, and then I'm going to have to go into the greenhouse, or get some internet work done that I really need to do. I'm very behind it. Anyway, so it's just, these are organic carrots. I always wash my vegetables, for those of you that are new. However, thanks Jane, how are the scones doing? I'll go check. Okay, let's see. Let me do that. Did say 15 minutes. Let's see. Oh. Okay, I'm going to show you, but I think they need to go in. I'm going to give them a poke. I think they need to go back in for a couple more minutes, because these two big ones look a little undone. But anyway, pretty, huh? Okay, we'll do 5 more minutes. Because, you know what? Because you're probably not supposed to make them that big. I was in a hurry trying to show you guys. So I was just like, slap them on there. Okay, let's hurry. So yeah, if you made them cookie size or whatever, scone size, or flatter. I didn't flatten them out much. Anyways, you get the hint, or you get the idea. Okay, so I'm just going to make this little cute little, I'm just going to make a cute little drink for energy. And so I've got carrots. I have a little piece of ginger, thumb size, I suppose, is what you would say. And because I'm using the little tiny magic bullet, trying to think of the name of it, I'm going to cut these up a little bit more because I don't want to stress the blades. And a little bit of beet. So it'll turn out almost looking like our strawberry, what did we make last week? Strawberry chocolate smoothie. That was really good. So yes, this is a raw beet. And I don't, because they're organic and washed, I don't peel them because I like to get the additional nutrition from the peel. I'm going to cut that again, just to make sure I don't stress that. I could put this in the Vitamix. Maybe I should put it in the Vitamix. And, oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know. Should I put it in the, maybe I'll put it in the Vitamix. That way I don't have to worry about stressing out the little blade on this guy. And of course the Vitamix top is over at the sink because I use the Vitamix a lot. Okay, I'm going to try it in here just so I don't have to jump up again, because I'm going to have to jump up in a couple minutes, see if that scone's ready. Oh my God, you guys. I'm so glad you love hanging out and exploring new ways and fun ways of working with health and nutrition and foods and herbs and all the things that help us to be happier and healthy. And so it's awesome. Okay, so we're going to blend this up. I think we've got enough water in there. It'll be okay. Let's see. It did it. Thank you. So the reason I didn't add a lot of water, when you're making a smoothie, depending on your blender, of course, the more water that you add, the food's going to fly around the water, right? So it's going to be harder to get it blended finer into a thinner, you know, because the blades aren't touching the food, right? If the food's just floating around the water. So I would add my water after, and I tend to do that with my soups and things anyway too, as you guys know. So now I'll add the water more to the top, and then just give it a little shot just to mix that all together. The other thing you can do, because this is not, it's not very sweet, right? I didn't put anything in that's sweet other than the, well, the beets aren't really sweet, but other than the carrots. I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God, I forgot to talk to you guys about the different foods and the salty, sweet, and all that. We'll have to do it tomorrow because I gotta go get those scones. Anyways, yeah, so you guys would probably want to add an apple to this. I mean, I like it because I love the ginger. The ginger is super strong, and the carrots and the beets. I mean, I just really love that kind of thing. So for me, I don't really need the apple in it, but if you want to add apple, you can add banana. That'd be really good. That would sweeten it right up. And also, the banana would make it smoother too, right? So more of a smoothie. So whatever it is that works for you, you know, just play with things. It doesn't, you know, people keep asking me for recipes, you know, what's a recipe? And you need to just taste and add and taste and add. And you know what? If this doesn't turn out and you don't like it, make it into soup. You know, like seriously, it's beets, carrots, and ginger. You can always, nearly always, repurpose something that doesn't turn out. So, so yeah, just experiment. Like, don't be all hung up on, you know, oh, I didn't do this right or that right or whatever. I mean, if you're working with a health concern and you're using food as a medicine, then there would be rules to follow, you know. But in general, like, just play with it. Add a banana, add an apple. And even if you add a banana or an apple, you can still throw those into the soup. Anyway, I better check on the scones. Let's see. Hold on. I fogged up my glasses. That's heat. Okay, I'm going to put them in for a couple more minutes, but basically, this one, I mean, all the little ones are done. So I'll just put the big ones in for a while. Can you really see that? Oh, that looked nice. And they're really good. Like, just not too sweet, super awesome and crunchy. And yeah, I should have probably flattened those out a little bit. But that's the thing. You just try trial and error, and just have fun and try and put together healthy things and make healthy food. And if it tastes good, that's a bonus. Okay, so, oh, Angela, hi. We just did, okay, recap. We started with scones. We actually did. We made them from scratch, right from the flour. And put them in, and that's the result. And then we did a digestive cordial with digestive herbs to for something you would take if you've eaten too much, or you've got an upset stomach, or you have just feeling of bloating and heavy and bleh, you know, like after you've eaten way more than you should have, then that's super helpful. That's going to be helpful for that. And then a little smoothie with carrots, beets, and ginger. And so that's it, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 11. But I'm not sure what's going to happen on Wednesday, because apparently there are plans. But anyways, we'll see you tomorrow at 11, and I've got a super awesome thing for tomorrow. I've never done it before, but it looks amazing, and I really, yeah, it's going to be super fun. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, and thank you for hanging out. That was so fun. And yeah, make these super easy. It's a better choice than, you know, cake or whatever. And so that, oh yeah, I'll just recap. The reason I'm making these is because I have a ton of strawberries, and I don't really want to use a sweet, sugary strawberry shortcake. So I'm going to, what we did was we just kind of broke them in half and put the strawberries over it, and then just kind of, you know, went like that. Or you could slice it, or you slice it into little cakes, or whatever you want to do, or just eat it straight up with your favorite beverage. It's really good. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11. Thanks. Have a good day. Go out there and enjoy that sunshine. And, oh yeah, tell people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks. Bye.